I don't know who invented the saying yak yak yak. I can't even remember the first time that I ever heard that saying. But I do remember the first time I remember thinking that. And this is that story. "You were about as worthless a little bastard as I have ever known," said Miss Castile, the matron of the nursery at the orphanage where I live. I just stood there with my head looking down at the floor, so as not to upset her any more than she already was. I had been sent over to the nursery building to help clean up the bathroom, toilets, and the sinks. I was probably known as the one who could do the best job of all the kids in the orphanage, so that became my job. Now that that was done, we were told that we had to scrub and wax the floors in the hallway. Mrs. Castile went on and on and on about we were absolutely of no value to the world other than to work. I never paid much mind to what the adults had to say to me at the orphanage. Maybe that's why they hated me so much. I just could never understand why 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-old kids had to work all the time. There was school, there was church, and there was work. There was never any play. And there was very little else in between. The next thing I remember, I was laying on the bedroom floor with a wet soapy mop beam jabbed into my face. "You're just a fat, mean old lady," I yelled as I jumped to my feet. I grabbed the mop handle and I dipped it into the bucket of water, then I lunged the head of the mop in her direction. "So you want to fight, you do, you little bastard," she screamed. "No, ma'am, I don't want to fight with you, Miss Castile. No, ma'am," I replied as I was shaking. She grabbed the metal bucket full of water and threw it at me as hard as she could. The bucket grazed my shoulder and then it hit the wall, making a large hole in the hallway wall. "I'm going to tell Miss Winters that you just made a big hole in that wall," she yelled at me. "I didn't do it, you did it, and I'm going to tell her that you did it." Just about that time, Mother Winters, the head matron of the orphanage, came walking down the hallway. "You had best keep your damn little mouth shut, you ugly little creep, or I'll cut your damn throat while you're sleeping. Do you understand that completely?" said Mother Castile. I just stood there not saying a word. "What's going on in here?" asked Mother Winters. "It's Roger Dean Kiser. He won't do his work like he was told," Mrs. Castile told her. "Is that true, Roger?" she asked. "No, ma'am, I did my toilets and sinks, and I did them good, too. Now she wants me to clean and wax the hallway, and that's not my job. I did my job. You come and see, Mother Winters," I said, pointing toward the bathroom. Then she looked and saw the large hole in the hallway wall. "What the damn hell happened here?" asked Mother Winters. She walked over to the hole and touched it. Mr. Dean Kiser threw the bucket at me, and as I was instructing him on his duties," said Mother Castile. "Do you realize how much this will cost to fix that young man?" she hollered. "I don't know," I whimpered. "Shut your damn mouth. Mother Winters is still talking," Mother Castile said. On and on went Mother Winters, on and on and on. I just had this special way of shutting out what any adult would say to me. What grown people had to say was totally worthless to me anyway. Adults were nothing more than a bunch of rude, selfish, stuck-up snobs. Basically, they were just a bunch of lying people who cared about nobody except themselves and their jobs. On and on and on Mother Winters went. All at once, I just lost it. "God, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate all of you," I yelled out. Bam went my head as it crashed into the hallway wall as she slapped me across the face as hard as she could with her open hand. "That's not nice to say hate to someone," said Mother Winters. "Now you stand up and tell Mother Winters that you're sorry," said Mother Castile. I rose to my feet. I said nothing, and I looked both of them straight in the eye. They grabbed me by the arm and took me over to my dormitory, where I was locked in the hallway closet until the authorities were called. Then I was picked up by a police car and taken to the Duval County Juvenile Shelter, where I was locked in a wire cage. The next day, I was taken and stood before Judge Marion Gooding. As scared as I was at 8 years old, I tried to explain to him what had happened. I also tried to explain to him what grown-up people were doing to us kids at the orphanage, especially at night. But he just wouldn't believe me. He just sat there staring at me, as if he were saying, "Yak, yak, 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 yak."